Hey everybody, it's Jim with Hawthorne Manor. Doesn't look like much right now, but today's project is going to be distressing a door. Now, we live in a neighborhood under construction, so I was able to pick up a free door. It had a hole in it, which was not a big deal. So I'm going to do two things with this door. I'm going to add a crackle effect to it, and I'm also going to distress it with a little bit of damage. Now, here's what I've already gone through and done. I have used a hammer to basically go through and kind of gently put some holes in the doors. You know, try not to do completely round circles. And then what I've done is use a darker colored paint. It's not really a black, it's like a dark gray color, and I've filled in those damaged areas. Now what I've gone through and done also is I've painted with gold spray paint some areas that I want to add a crackle effect to. So I picked up some gold spray paint. Now here's some of the other things that we're going to need. I have a white basic paint to use as the top coat, and my tools there. And what I have here is a cup, and I put a little bit of wood glue in there and a little bit of water. Now this is a really old technique. People have been using this for quite some time. And what I'm going to do is put this wood glue on top of the gold spray painted areas, and then I'm going to do a crackle effect on top of that with the glue. Let me show you how. Now with your gold spray painted areas dried, I've added a little bit of water to some wood glue, and I'm just going to kind of evenly spread it across here. Now what's going to happen is we're going to let this dry a little bit, and once it's a little dry, we're going to put our top coat over the top of it. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of heat, and that's going to quickly dry both the glue and the paint, and it's going to give us this effect. This is an area where I did a trial. I don't know if you can pick up that texture. But the best way to really do anything is just to kind of try it for yourself, and that's what I did here in the corner. Now the thing I'm going to do differently is inside the cracks, what's going to happen is that this gold paint color is going to come through. So let me go ahead and apply the rest of this glue to the gold areas. Alright, as you can see, I've put the glue on the door here pretty liberally. Now I like to put just a little bit of water in with the glue to make it brush on just a little bit better. A good tip is that if the glue starts running down the wall, you've put in too much water. Like I've done here, I've got just a little too much water there. So for this door, I have probably filled up about this much of the cup with glue. And I like to use just these cheap little brushes because I can throw them away. Now we're going to wait just a few minutes until that's tacky, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting our top coat on. Now in the meantime, I've noticed that a few of my my damage marks here were a little too round, so I'm taking some pliers and I'm just kind of bending these up a little bit. That way it doesn't look, you know, too round like I, you know, hit it with a hammer. So I'm just going to kind of gently kind of grab and peel, grab and peel, grab and peel. Kind of like that, just kind of rough it up just a little bit. This one needs it here pretty good. So just get that up underneath there and pull it out a little bit. And that kind of roughs it up just a little bit more. Oops, hold the camera steady. Instead of it being, you know, too perfectly round, I'm just going to kind of bend those pieces out like that. Now these are just like a fiberboard, so it's really, really easy to bend and mold like that. Alright, maybe this one here just a little bit more. So you're just going to kind of bend that up just a little bit. So, like I said, just again, so it doesn't look round like you've hit it with a hammer. There we go. All right, a few more minutes and we'll start painting. And that's what we look like. Okay, you can see I've roughed up the door just a little bit more. About 10 minutes have gone by. Now we can start painting. Now, one of the things to consider is this. Go ahead and test a little area. And if you can go ahead and put the paint on without significantly moving around the glue, then you're ready to go. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting a lot of paint on. Don't be afraid to go ahead and just glob it on there because you want it nice and thick. And if you have some brush marks, that's okay. Here we are. Let me show you what I'm going to do right here. Just go ahead and put it on liberally. So we're going to go through and we're going to paint up this whole door. Now it only took me a couple of minutes to paint this door. Now you're not painting something inside your house, so it doesn't have to be really neat. I made it as messy as I could. I put globs of paint in some places. Now I'm going to get in close. You could already see without me doing anything that is starting to crackle already. But what I'm going to do is get a heat gun here in a second and we'll speed up the process. Now, notice here in the damaged areas, I went ahead and filled it in with a darker colored paint, but when I hit it with my top coat, I went real easy with the brush. Almost a dry brushing type of a technique. That way you could still see the dark areas. And what that's going to do, it's going to really make this damaged area pop. Now I'm going to get my heat gun and we're going to start distressing some more. Now, if you don't already have one of these, go ahead and buy one. They're really cool to have. There's many things that you could do with them. This particular one I bought at Home Depot for $20. Maybe you can shop around. Maybe you can get a used one on eBay. Now, I've let it dry for just a couple of minutes. And you can see I'm getting some runny paint in some areas. And you can start seeing that gold color come through a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And we're going to apply a little bit of heat and we'll see how this starts to really pop. Look at that. You can see how that area is really starting to distress nicely. Now this is an area that I put a lot of extra paint on. So what's going to happen here is that the crackle effect is going to be more prominent. Look at that. And so with the heat gun, what we're doing is we're just kind of speeding up the process here. Look how beautifully that's starting to distress. Now I'm going to try to remember where I put the gold paint, because that's where I want, look at that. That's where I want this to distress. I can't remember exactly where I did it all, but you can see the paint drying. When you got up this morning, I bet you never thought you'd be watching YouTube and watching paint dry. Go back over here and get a little bit of this area. Look at that. Look at that crack. Nice. Nice. Let's hit this thick area and see what this does. Yep, there we go. We get some cracking. So basically, if there's no glue under the area that we're heating, the paint is just going to dry. But if I've got glue underneath it, we're going to get that crackle effect. Alright, let me put the camera down and finish her up. Wow, you have got to be kidding me. That turned out pretty good. Now, I have to admit, this is the first time that I've done this. There are a ton of YouTube videos out there, so this is really nothing new. But look at that detail. You can see that gold color just popping right through there. And so what I've done, I've probably spent about 15 minutes with the heat gun going over that, and I made sure that I got every little bit of wet paint. Now, some of the other things I saw that was going to happen was this. Let me get in here. In some places, the paint kind of bubbles. So what it's going to do is it's going to kind of flake off. So what you can do is just get up underneath there and kind of break it loose. Look at that. Kind of rough it up just a little bit more. Alright, well there you go. That's my distressed door. I'm not sure what's going to go behind it quite yet. I might do a projection, something like that. But here's my new catchphrase. On to the next thing.